Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back from the MLG offices in New York City. I'm Axel Toss. I'm joined by Zombie Grub, and we are late into day number 2 of the festivities of this weekend, where there's a tournament going on about 10 blocks in that direction over there. And there's a lot of pro players here in New York City, a lot of professional casters too.
I'm a pro caster?
I would say, I mean, you're pretty good. Yeah.
I mean,
Like
pro
you came here for the weekend, right?
Yeah.
I know a lot of people might not necessarily know that. Why don't you tell the story of Zombie Grub right now while we have some time to kill before Revival versus San, which is coming up next, by the way.
What do you mean, like my road to fame?
What are you doing? Like, that's a good question. I don't know what I mean, actually.
Oh, well.
And how did you get started casting? How about that?
That's a good question. There was this tournament, and I was little Goldie. I was Goldilocks.
Goldilocks.
Yeah, I was
okay.
Gold Zerg, and I was like, me and my friend were just like, let's do it.
So, to play in the tournament or to cast it?
To cast it.
Oh.
Yeah, we actually angered the other caster, but that's fine.
Really? Why? How'd that happen?
Oh, he was just
bitter about you
bitter.
stealing all the viewership?
That was a long time ago.
Who's your friend? Or do you still cast with?
No, I don't cast with them anymore. That was like a year and a half ago, right?
Oh.
Like, I got into STARCRAFT. I mean, I got it when it came out, but I didn't really get into the scene until like 2 years ago now. Yeah.
Cool. That's a cool story. Cool story. No, everyone has everyone's gonna have a story of how they stumbled upon esports, right?
Yeah.
Like that. It's always a fun conversation, discussion. Farside is asking if I'm ready, but no. Follow Zombie Grub on Twitter. I'm assuming it's at Zombie Grub.
Be wrong. It's at ZG Gaming.
Dang it.
Yeah, my other account was Zombie Grub and I couldn't take it. It was sad times.
Okay. Well, follow on Twitter. You've been doing a great job, and I'm excited for Revival versus San.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are.
So this is, to be a little bit more specific, this is Group D. This is a best of 3. The winner will move on to the winner's match. The loser will go to the elimination match. Also, huge shout out to Hendrilisk and Smurf, who were on here a moment ago. Of course, they had to deal with all the technical issues that are happening at the actual convention center. There's been internet issues, and it's been a little bit unfortunate for them, but you know, we can do what we're going to do what we can here to bring you all as much coverage as possible, as efficiently as possible. And again, apologies for any delays or any frustrations that comes with watching a live event that has unfortunate issues. But here we are in Game 1 on Whirlwind in the bottom left-hand location. I present your Blue Zerg player from Team Evil Geniuses. He is Revival. What do you think of Revival, Miss Zombie Grub?
I like them.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Anything specific?
Are you going to choose the other player, or am I just being...
I will.
Okay.
I won't choose the other player, you're right. Top right-hand location, I present your Red Protoss player. Used to be... I'm not sure the team. Yo Firewolves, I think.
Flash Wolf?
Flash Wolves?
Oh,
he is San. And San has been... He's been doing good things lately. I remember an Acer Team Scoring Cup match. No, he's on Western Wolves, I thought. See, now I'm confused.
He was on a lot of teams, right? So he was I thought the most recent team was Azubu, honestly.
I promise he's on Western Wolves right now.
I don't
Am
think...
I completely
no,
off base?
there
Because
was
he
like
played Axiom in the Acer Team Scoring Cup.
They might have an agreement because that team's actually Taiwanese.
You're right. That's a great point. Okay. So San is dipping his toes in a bunch of different teams, but he's very good at StarCraft too. But back to Revival. Revival's one of those guys who's been in the scene for a while. He was on TSL and then eventually joined Evil Geniuses, and he's had some great results. And it's Yo Flash Wolves, by the way, for San.
Oh, yeah. Got it.
So very good memory there, Miss Sandra. But yeah, Revival's one of those guys who I always consider very, very solid, very standard. But look at this, opening up with an early pool on Whirlwind. What do you make of this decision?
You know, people always like to say that Whirlwind's like a map that encourages macro, but because of it, there's always so many early pools. Like, it's so common to see. It's not surprising at all anymore. Of course, he's not going to end the game here, guys. This is really just to give him control, maybe pick off a probe or two. Of course, if he could deny a Nexus, that would be fantastic.
Is that possible?
I don't know.
We'll see. I mean, Sun's still a bit away from even putting down a Nexus. Let's see. Cybercore's going to finish and then going to go right into Mothership Core. So these Lings are just going to be annoying for now. Going to screw around into the main base. There's a Zealot there, so San's Nexus, if anything, might be delayed. Behind this, Revival going directly for a hatchery. So it's not like he's investing $100 bazillion into this. Taking a gas behind this as well, which is mildly interesting to me. But the Lings are going to get dealt with without too much trouble. You know, I think he was just kind of looking for a Nexus expand type thing, or maybe Forge Fast expand, or a Protoss that was a little bit greedy. But San here going for a gateway expand, getting the Cyber Core already. He's going to be completely prepared for that Ling play. And he might have been honestly expecting it. And I love this. Just safety, just a nice safety move, putting 2 pylons on top of the ramp. Of course, he's going to cancel those. Just making sure there's not a bunch of speedlings ready and waiting to pounce once he moves down. He's going to cancel one of those, right?
Well, he's still not. Okay, there it goes.
I was gonna say. It's like, I'm going to wall myself in on one base.
That works. No,
I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna stay super safe and build cannons behind those pylons. Just make yourself safe on one base. No, at the professional level, this makes sense. Just being very safe.
Yeah, I'm actually really surprised about how safe that was. You know, a lot of times you don't see people do that. Of course, we know that Revival is not having 20 speedlings behind this, but of course he doesn't. So it's actually nice to see him play that safe, but it's not necessarily what he wants in this game. But the probe will finally see that, Revival is in the lower left. I think he determined that after the scout in the other 2 positions. But he's going to be able to see, all right, you have a hatch. He's not going to be able to see speed, I'm guessing. I'm pretty sure the queen will either kill it or just won't go in there. Looks like he wants to save it for later.
Yeah, he knows his opponent is there. I think he already scouted the top side, so he's pretty sure that that's the situation. Some Ling's going to try to track that guy down. Of course, it's pretty important as a Zerg player to really identify those early probes and make sure they don't throw down any scary pylons, because that means they could potentially be aggressive a little bit later. And if you don't know where that pylon is, or if you're unsure if there's a pylon on your side of the map, and you're not sure if your opponent can be aggressive, then you can find a few zealots, actually quite a few zealots, marching into your natural expansion and making scary stuff happen. So it looks like San's early probe was taken out. Mothership Core coming over here trying to take revenge. No other probes in the field at this point in time that I can see. And from here, seems like pretty standard stuff. San adding on 2 additional gateways. We'll see if he tries to be any aggressive at all with that.
Yeah. It's currently 34 drones, 27. It's not a big deal either way. But, Revival, he's getting that 3rd right now. Unfortunately, San is not going to be able to see it. And you're right, you're talking about that probe, being out in that map. The first step to any aggression against a Protoss is, take away their reinforced positions with the proxy pylon. Sometimes it's a War Prism, and then it gets a little more tricky. But, if you do that, you can oftentimes end, 3-gate and 4-gate pressure just right there by killing the proxy pylon.
Yes.
It's really, really useful. So San right here is actually going to use his Mothership Core to scout. Oh, and he's hallucinating an Oracle for a scout.
Fancy.
That's going to be a fake.
It's a fake. It's not real. Let's see if Revival pulls all of his drones, because that would make San happy, because this Oracle will not do any damage.
He very well might. Well, of course, if the queen is there and he sees it as an attack, then he probably won't. But we'll have to see. It's getting there. The Mothership Core is just damaging the 3rd a little bit. Rarely do you see a Mothership Core cancel a 3rd. But this attack, did he get a
Yeah, he ended up getting a sentry there. That was a fancy pickoff. Of course, San is trying to prepare to take a 3rd base, and Revival had some Lings there to try to be annoying. Again, as a Zerg player, the longer you can delay this 3rd base, the more awesome the game is going to be for you. So Revival definitely looking for that. Meanwhile, we have San actually poking across the map here. He's got 4 sentry, 2 zealots. Looks like he wants to be aggressive towards his 3rd base. I mean, it's already down to 900 HP.
Yeah,
but this is a little bit dangerous. Whenever you're running across the map with sentries at this point in the game with not a lot of supplementation, and there's speedlings on the field, it's going to be a bit dangerous.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised by how brazen he was with those units, and also splitting up just a little bit. Luckily, he didn't lose too much. Then he is going to go over there. Of course, Revival sees this happening. And you're right, the Mothership Core did a lot of work on that hatchery, so it's very possible that San will be able to take it down. Only 1 roach right there, the queen as well. But that's about it. The few roaches are starting to trickle in, but one at a time.
This is a very strange push. Of course, San can always recall with that Mothership Core, assuming it doesn't get targeted down, and Kill is going to start running that guy away. Revival targeting it down with that queen. He's going to try to track it down, but it looks like he should be able to scurry out just in time. Down to 10 HP, but he gets away. A couple Zealots remaining there in that 3rd base trying to take down some drones. Meanwhile, we also have, looks like a couple Zealots going into the natural expansion. So San just trying to be as annoying as possible. Units lost shows 1225 to 1181. Income 48 to 45 in favor of Revival. So no crazy distinctions, however. Revival already has a lair, and he's blocking this 3rd base, and now he absolutely knows his opponent is staying on 2 bases. And it's Blink and Robo, so really delayed 3rd base here from San.
Yeah, definitely. And, really what San was looking for there was no roaches popping out. You can get the roach one at a time and then not build any roaches and hope to see what's coming. Unfortunately, he did see it and was able to get those roaches out in time, or otherwise San might have very well have gotten that 3rd, which is really what he wanted. Because as you said, his own 3rd is so late. And, the hatch, the Overlord's taking the exact 3rd that he wants. He's getting 3 gateways, but I'm pretty sure this is just to, have enough gateways to defend any pressure.
Let's see. Where does he go from here? I mean, he has Blink halfway done. His third is super delayed. Looks like he's preparing to set that guy up. And of course, Blink, it seems like it's going to be more defensive at this point in time to help against any aggression that's intending to deny the third base. But Whirlwind, it's a very big map, very long map. These guys are cross positions from each other. So if you're going to try to be aggressive across the field, you got to make that decision very early on. You have to be kind of committed, because if you decide to just send an attack across the map and it's not really nicely timed out, the Protoss player can easily shut it down, especially considering that rally distance is going to be a long way for the Zerg. And look at this, he's just attacking off 2 bases.
Yeah, he got another 2 gateways, and he didn't use his robo at all. He actually got 8 gateways, and he's going to be pushing forward. So that third was a fake. He wanted to see that probe.
Okay, advancing toward the third base up here on the left-hand side. San coming forward. He's going to try to end his opponent right now. Again, it's 2 bases for San, so he doesn't really have a backup plan. Here comes San up to this third base.
Well, that Mothership core is pretty, down on health. Of course, that has all its shields, but that's going to go very, very quickly, and he wants that in case this engagement goes south. He wants to be able to recall and at least have some, manageable army to go ahead and try and play a macro game out of this.
It's a lot of Hydras here. Hydras can be pretty good against Stalkers, but again, these Stalkers have Blink, so
Oh,
San
no,
micros properly. Mothership core, no Time Warps going down, also no recall. So San with a little bit of a misstep there. San going to have to back up. He's gonna have to reconsider this a bit. That Mothership core is very important to get those Time Warps, especially against Hydras.
Exactly. It's Time Warps that are so important to actually be able to outmaneuver, and they're just really, really good spells, but also that recall, this is all in if he engages, so he's going to need to be very, very sure about what he does here, but there's so many Hydras out in the field.
He has no third base. Again, I have to remind people of that. This is pretty all in here from San. A lot of Stalkers coming forward, being very technical, not going for the engagement just yet. Looks like he might start trying to march the natural expansion, using those force fields from behind to kind of isolate his opponent. Probably going to force field this ramp. That's exactly what's going to happen. San with some cheeky micro here, going straight to that third base, taking out a lot of Roaches and Hydras, and Revival forced to pull some drones, but San reinforcing with so many units, more force fields being deployed at the bottom of that third base ramp, and Revival is having trouble closing the distance on this army. San being very cost efficient so far.
Yeah, he still has a bunch of force fields left. He can continue blocking off that ramp. He decides not to. No, he's going to cut the army just a little bit, take some free units for it, and he's definitely going to get this third, I can tell you that. But, Rival already had a fourth going on the way, so he could, technically still recover from this, especially since Sand can't really escape with all his sentries. It's like Stalkers can escape, but not those sentries.
Yeah, San needs to go for the kill right now. Again, he's on 2 bases. He's very committed. He's warping in more and more gateway units. All that Revival really is going for him is he's still making Hydras and Roaches. He's got +2. That's about 60% of the way done. But again, he just lost that third base, which is going to mean his economy and his production is going to be struggling. He wants a lot of units out on the field right now, but he's going to have a tough time considering he's only on 2 bases. There might be still a chance he can make this happen, but San with still so many Blink Stalkers, and he's really good with that micro. Going to start blinking back those weakened guys, starting to charge up into that natural expansion in Revival, trying to figure out a way to hold this off.
Yeah, he has 16 Roaches. They're just now popping out, and he needs those to make sure the Hydras don't just go down before doing the damage they need to. Nice Blink Stalker usage from San so far. I think that's all the Blinks that he has, and he does need to retreat, but just for now.
Yeah, Revival pushing away, but again, as long as San keeps these Stalkers alive, he's going to be happy with any trades. Because he's fine losing shields. He just blinks the weakened guys to the back, and now he's isolating this third base. Revival pursuing up to this location, but there's just too many Stalkers, and they're doing too much damage.
Obviously he doesn't want to lose this third as well. So what I was saying is, he has that backup third so that if he destroys the army, he has that. But if he doesn't have that either, then it's a 2-base Protoss versus a 2-base Zerg, and San just might be okay with that.
Okay, Hatchery's gone. Revival's running out of options. He's still exclusively making units, which makes sense. Again, he's trying not to die. But San also making a bunch of units as well. Keeps adding a lot of Stalkers. Some of these Stalkers have like a ridiculous amount of kills. 8-kill Stalk right there with 5 HP. Let's see how long he stays alive. San engaging the natural expansion of his opponent. Once again, blinking back those weakened Stalkers. Revival trying to get up close with those Roaches and Hydras. Trying to make that DPS work. Some Lings coming in here as well. And San going to back up away. So San having trouble closing out his opponent. Revival doing a pretty good job prolonging this game. But again, he's not really necessarily getting the trades that he wants. It's tricky right now.
It's really tricky. So San, or rather Revival, is going to go out here, and I don't think I agree with that. That gives a better arc for the Blink Stalkers. He was really banking on that ramp to survive, and this is just going to be, it's going to be terrible. He doesn't want to blink forward, though, only half of his Blink Stalkers.
Even an offensive blink there from San. He's feeling pretty confident here. Again, going to this natural, blinking back those Stalkers. Revival trying to hold on. Again, he's playing super fast, trying to get a bunch of Lings and Hydras out, but he's on 2 bases, on 2-base economy. He's only able to get larvae out of those 2 hatcheries. And San doesn't really have a backup plan. You just keep making units, keep making stalkers, and keep pressing forward. I mean, we obviously don't see the third base. 4 more stalkers warped in just then. And Revival going to try to reestablish. I don't know how he got a drone up to this location, but he did. Actually sending a lot of drones in that direction, considering his main base is about to mine down. Again, we're at the 18-minute, 30-second mark. And honestly, San is mined out of his main base, too. So all of his probes are mined. He's actually going to start long-distance mining with some probes.
Well, that's what you got to do, but the engagement is happening once again. San blinking back. You know, he's able to kill the Lings kind of for free by doing that, you know, micro trick with the Blink Stalkers. But Revival just has so many Hydras, there's no way that San is going to be able to push forward. So if Revival can keep that third and actually let it get up, then he'll be back in the winning position.
I'm wondering, San has kind of laid off the aggression a little. He's not taking a third base.
Oh, that's right. +2 attack for Revival did finish. So that definitely played a huge part right there.
And we got +1 armor on the way here from San, and he's coming back. Is he trying to isolate this army in the middle here? I mean, they're kind of caught off guard. San is going to love the open space here with those Blink Stalkers. Going to get a nice concave onto these Hydras. And Revival, he's caught off guard a little bit. He's going to try to engage this, but I think San is going to prefer this trade any time of the day. A Time Warp even going down onto the Hydras. And look at this concave from San. He's coming in from every angle. Revival forced to throw down the GG. And San takes game number 1. Going for the two-base Blink Stalker play. And it ended up working out quite well for him.
Yeah, I really didn't like what I don't know why Revival thought he had to push out right there.
Yeah.
I mean, I wonder if he had anything scouting the third. Maybe he thought the third might be already out.
I mean, if we're wondering about options, it's like he's on 2 bases. He's trying to figure out a way to get out. Like, the one advantage you might have on 2 bases, you have, like, those extra gases, so you can try to muscle out some tech, maybe get some infestors out or something.
Yeah.
But San can be so efficient with Blink Stalkers. He loves the Blink Stalker play, and we saw how good he was. Like, he had some Stalkers that had literally 11 or 8 kills, 9 kills, 10 kills. And when you can do that with your Stalkers against a Roach Hydra composition out of a Zerg who's on 2 bases, like, that's a great, like, that's already ridiculously cost efficient for you. Of course, a lot of those are Lings dying and stuff, but still, San with some great micro tricks, and he's able to take the 1-0. What do you think Revival needs to do to bring this back?
Honestly, I thought he played a very good game up until he let that other hatchery die, the 4th hatchery. But, you know, letting the 3rd hatchery is usually also at least one nail in a coffin.
And picking those engagements is really important, too. Like, there was that moment where San had those force fields right outside his opponent's natural expansion, and then he kind of juked over to the right and then went up into the 3rd and then force fielded behind him. You have to be so careful as a Zerg to, like, kind of anticipate that or at least be prepared for when that happens. But San did a great job with those force fields, getting his army in that optimal location, giving himself the 1-0. But, guys, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be jumping right into Game 2 of San versus Revival. You're watching IEM New York City here from the MLG offices in New York City. I'm Axel Toss, joined by Zombie Grub. We'll be right back.